Welcome to the Nicholas Brown Podcast, a podcast talk show about real estate investing, business leadership, and personal development. Each week, we explore current real-life case studies about how to build financial independence through investing in real estate to build your personal portfolio through passive income models, along with interviews from the top business leaders and personal development leaders. Now, here's your host, Nicholas Brown.
Welcome to the show, everyone. This is episode 35. I got another special guest, which this topic is going to be on business development, but we're going to deal with the real estate niche on there. So, for example, my listeners, you guys are new listeners, or you may be passive or you may be active. This is my niche. He's going to be on the site I'm telling you about, the 24/7 site, which you can always watch videos or reach out to him, and he'll be able to answer your questions, because I love for him to educate you. I love the people that I'm giving you on this type of episode to educate them. And make sure you send business, because he's educated. He's the authority on there. If you don't know, he will find out, I promise. So let's get to it. This episode is about Mike Helm. Mike Helm is a sales executive with Fidelity National Title Group, the nation's largest group title companies and title insurance underwriters. Throughout his career, Mike has been a constant networker, forming the next generation of New Jersey networking group to give young professionals of all industries an opportunity to connect, network, collaborate, and grow together. Mike started the Morning Spotlight in 2020 as the daily LinkedIn video series where he would interview networking partners, clients, and friends in an effort to give everyone an opportunity to speak to his network. After 3 months of the video series, the Morning Spotlight transitioned into more traditional podcast format it is today, which is primarily focused on real estate, but has discussed business, mental health, and fitness, and more. He has interviewed high-profile members of the real estate industry, an Olympic athlete, professional sport coaches, and others to provide his listeners with great insights on business and life. Make sure you guys reach out to Mike at michael.ham@ctt.com. You also can reach him online, which is on the phone, which is 862-505-4853. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Nick, I am so pumped to be here.
Yeah.
I haven't honestly looked at my LinkedIn bio, so that's why I was like, I wonder how this is going to go. But that's perfect. I'm ready to go. I know title insurance is not necessarily like the sexiest subject, but I promise, it's needed, and I promise I'm going to make it as exciting as I possibly can.
I appreciate that.
Excited to be here. Thank you.
But ladies and gentlemen, before we move on, I'm going to give it to him, though. But I want to make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. If you listen in, make sure you download this, as I said before. Though, but just another tip, I advise you guys, if you haven't already, join in with Clubhouse. This is how I met this gentleman here. See how we're bonding now. So make sure you guys tie in with that. It's good networking.
Great.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Clubhouse obviously has been just a great way to connect. I literally just got off a call with someone that I met on Clubhouse. That's a real estate person. Now I'm on here with you on your show, talking real estate, talking title insurance. So the power of Clubhouse is real. It's a time suck for sure, but you know, I'm excited about it because it has opened a lot of doors for me. So,
and it pays off, and it's tied in counter to LinkedIn too. Don't you agree?
I definitely agree. I think that the nice thing about Clubhouse and platforms like LinkedIn, which is, where I spend a lot of my time and where I try to network as much as possible, is that I feel like you get a little bit more of an engaged way to kind of communicate with somebody. So when I heard you talking about your show and you heard me kind of pitching myself in that guest connection room that we were in, I think we almost immediately knew that we could figure something out. And you can't hide on there. When you're talking, you can't be fake. You got to be as real as you are. And I think that's where the connection between us really happened. And then now here we are. Now,
because it's a bridge builder also. It's a good bridge builder. It's 24/7. You'd be surprised who come on.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, if you get chance to look at his YouTube or his LinkedIn, you're gonna see some celebrities on there also. I saw some celebrities, NFL players, and all that. So
Yeah.
Good to
Yeah.
have.
We try to keep it as fun as possible. So,
Right.
like, I mean, I like to say that I'm the coolest guy in title insurance.
Yeah. Yeah, he
And
is.
I wouldn't be the coolest guy in title insurance if I didn't talk to cool people,
Right.
So
Right. Right.
we do 2 episodes a week now. So every Tuesday we do a real estate focused episode on covering
Okay.
a variety of topics. And then every Thursday we have people on that, run the gamut of, like you said, NFL players. We've had Olympic athletes,
Yeah.
musicians. We've had Emmy award winning actors and broadcasters.
Right. Right.
Really, like a lot of different people that can provide a lot of different value beyond just how to set up a 1031 or how to
Right.
do a multifamily investment. So I
Right.
think it's
Right.
just you get to connect with the people more, and I think that's
Right.
what business and real estate and everything is all about. And that's what we're
That's
talking about
right.
with Clubhouse. You connect with people first, and
That's
then the
right.
business stuff comes second. And that's kind of how the show is set up.
And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, I already told him he'll be in the back office. If you ever have any questions on LinkedIn or passive REI networking, because it's about networking. That's what we're doing now. But if he can't answer, he'll find out. But that's why I want Mike to educate you on title. Title, it takes time to build that type of business, though, but that is needed. Am I correct?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I will have been doing this 4 years in August of this year. So it's been a long time, but at the same time, it's gone by really fast. I mean, lost pretty much an entire year last year due to COVID and everything going on. There wasn't a lot of real estate stuff happening. And, I'll do my best to educate. I mean, it differs. Title insurance, the way it's set up, differs state to state. And I'm licensed in New Jersey, but I do work for a national underwriter, like you mentioned in the bio, for Fidelity National Title Group.
Right.
We're all over the country. So I work directly for the underwriter. We're not an agency, so directly for the underwriter. So you go right to the source to get your policies rather than going through a middleman. But I'll kind of give like the basis of title insurance and kind of what it
down, because most of the listeners that I'm getting there are either beginners in real estate or they want to get multi-level multi-properties on the apartment complex, but they're going to need title insurance because it's basically a turner. You got to make sure all the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed.
Exactly. Yeah. So title insurance. Yeah. So like the quick and dirty version of what title insurance is, it's different than any other type of insurance you're ever going to purchase in your entire life. So you think car insurance, health insurance, life insurance, you pay monthly, yearly, whatever premiums for anything that's going to happen in the future. Title insurance is different in that it is a one-time premium that you pay at the time of the closing on that property, whether it's a $100,000 residential property or a $100 million commercial property. You pay it at your closing. And this is, again, this is Jersey centric, but you pay it at your closing and it covers you for everything that's happened in the past on that piece of property. So let's say there is a lien on the property. Let's say there's an easement on the property. Let's say there's, a survey issue. So we take care of all those types of things, make sure we don't do the surveys. We have surveyors do it, but then we provide survey endorsements. But we look at all those things. Here in New Jersey, we actually have people go into the county records offices, pull books off the shelves, make photocopies, send, all the deeds and all the chains of title. We do a lot of different types of searches on that. Make sure that
side note, ladies and gentlemen, while you guys listening in and while you're watching this, his company represents it's nationwide.
Right.
So I want you guys to understand that. So he's not just talking about New Jersey. Am I right? Correct?
Right. Yeah. So there's nuances to every state on how it actually operates, like who pays for it, whether it's the buyer, the seller. Here in New Jersey, the buyer pays for it. Other states, the seller has to pay for it. It is not. I know for a fact here in New Jersey.
I'm just talking about offices.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We're nationwide. Nationwide. And then that way we can, facilitate transactions anywhere in the country.
Exactly.
But and there's other cases too where, I lost my train of thought, but that's okay. So basically what happens is we get the information on that piece of property. We put together the commitment, we send it, we help facilitate closings in a lot of cases. And then from there, then you're covered for anything that's happened in the past on that property. So let's just say, for example, that the guy before you that owned the house that you're about to buy hasn't paid his mortgage and the bank has a lien on that piece of property. If you do not get title insurance, and you do not know that there is a lien on that property and you take ownership of that house now, the lien doesn't follow the guy who owned it prior. It is now your responsibility to take care of that. So that's just one of the things that you don't want to get into a situation where you walk into the house, you're all excited, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, the bank has a lien on the property that now I have to pay because it's under my name and not the previous owner's name. Even like there's other examples of where, let's just say the power company has an easement through your backyard. Again, we're doing a lot of residential stuff, but a power company has an easement through your backyard. They have a power line running underneath the ground in your backyard. You want to put an addition on. You have no idea that easement is there. You put the addition on. They have to get to the line. You're kind of
covered.
Up
But
the creek.
If you didn't
if
have
you get
that.
title insurance.
Yeah.
So the one thing, right. So title insurance is not necessarily required by law to purchase when you are purchasing real estate. However, if you're getting a loan from a bank, I would say 99.999% of the time, they're going to require you to get at least a loan policy. If you're working with an attorney and you're working with an attorney that's, knows at least even a little bit about real estate, they're going to know that they should get it just because the potential implications of not having it are so huge and could really set you back quite a bit, because you are making a big investment, whether you're, like I said before, whether it's $100,000 residential property or $100 million commercial property, it's an investment. You're spending a lot of money on that property. You want to make sure that what you're getting is what you're seeing. Then there's no underlying things that you don't see that could set you back financially down the road.
Okay. Now, when you said premium, that's a one-time, right?
One-time payment.
Right? And that covers what? Can you explain what the premium? What's the purpose of the premium? What does it cover?
Yeah. So the premium thing. Yeah. Right. So the premium, like I said, covers everything that's happened in the past. So you pay that premium. Usually it's based, every state's different on how they calculate premium. Some have negotiated rates, some have standard rates like they do here in New Jersey. So it's based off the fair market value of the property. There's a calculator that I can run through. And if your listeners need a quote, I can run you a quote on what that would cost wherever in the country.
Have like a little PDF or a little link where they can go to. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get you that, because that'll be in the site, passive network site. So
so they can go there, they can fill out the information, and then they'll know what the title insurance premium is going to be. I mean, I do know here in New York, New Jersey, tri-state area, we have some of the higher premiums in the country, but then other states, have lower premiums. But it is going to be a financial, you're going to have to pay at the closing for, like I said, anything that's happened on the property. And then once you pay that premium, you're covered, and you never have to worry about title insurance again.
Right.
Or at least, unless there's a claim, you know what I mean? And in that case, then you actually have to, find your policy, know what it covers, all that kind of stuff.
Here's an example, ladies and gentlemen that's watching and ladies and gentlemen that's listening. Let's just say, for example, you find a property here in Dallas and it's a probate issue, and that's the purpose of a title search on there. If anything happens and that person had title insurance before, you're not liable for that. They are. Am I correct?
So if it would happen before the previous owner?
Right. If I want to buy that property, that previous owner had title insurance, but my company didn't notice it or whatever. And here I am about a month later or something like that. I get a knock on the door and they say, hey, you got a little lien here. You got a bush lien or whatever for the last 8 years. You owe that. I can just send it back to that title company because they actually had it, but they may have overlooked it though. But I'm not liable for that. Correct?
So if you did your title, if you purchased title insurance as the buyer of that property, then yes, you would be covered to the title company that you just purchased that policy from. It wouldn't go back to the previous owner and his or her policy. It would just be on you and that title company. So because
that's their job for the title company to make sure there's no types of liens when you close that. Because that's the purpose of you getting the premium.
Right.
So cover your assets, as you call it.
Right. If there's stuff that needs to get cleared up,
the
title company should be clearing up, making sure that like the mortgages are discharged, the liens are taken care of, whether the seller has to pay and get those the liens paid off, or whatever it is, just to make sure that when the buyer steps in, it's fresh, clean, whatever, and then they don't have to worry about any of that other stuff on the back end.
Yeah, anything in the future, because it has happened. I know it has happened with me
Right.
when I purchased a property. Then 2 or 3 months now, some contractor or somebody wants me to pay them, or no, go talk to the title company.
Right.
Here's my policy. That's the purpose of the premium. But
Yeah.
we do stress that cover your assets before you do that.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. But go ahead. So what got you into the business?
That's
No,
um,
side question. Is that a side question?
I
That's
think
too
that's a
deep.
side question. Yeah, it's not deep. It's just like, I mean, I graduated college in 2012
Okay.
here in New Jersey. Was played baseball in college. Was a college baseball coach. My first
Wow.
job out of college. Did that for 4 or 5 years. Then worked at an indoor sports facility here in New Jersey. Then eventually got into title insurance. So I kind of went a complete 180 on the whole career path. But my father's been a title insurance attorney here in New Jersey for about
Oh,
35 years. So
wow.
that's kind of,
Okay.
the connection
Right.
there.
Right.
He works for the same company that I do, and he's a regional counsel up in New Jersey, and I think he covers Delaware as well. But yeah, I mean, at the time back when I was working at the indoor sports facility, I did not like that job. It was not a good fit. I was just kind of lost, didn't really know what I wanted to do.
Really.
And he was like, "Well, what about selling title insurance?" I was like, "What the hell is title insurance?" And now
All those
almost
years you didn't know?
well, no, but I mean, like, because I would he would work from home some days, and I would listen to him on the phone. I'd make fun of him, like, what the hell are you even talking about in there? Like, that sounds so boring.
Right.
But I mean, and then so I didn't really exactly understand that. I had to sit for my insurance producer's exam. He was a great resource because instead of going through like the
Man.
courses, the online courses to study, we would just sit on the porch and he would just like ask me questions, or I would ask him questions, and we talk about title insurance. So he's been just a wealth of knowledge for me,
Awesome, man.
being one of the more experienced, probably one of the most experienced title insurance attorneys here in New Jersey. So having him has just been amazing. And even now, like, I'll text him, ask him a question, give him a call, whatever. So it's always nice to kind of have a little backup. If you don't know the answer, you could find someone that does know the
That's
answer.
right.
But that's kind of how I got started in it. And then my first couple months, I was saying to him, like, what did you get me into? I mean, this is like, this
Why is
was
that?
as boring as I probably
Oh,
expected.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But that was just because it was new.
Right.
Like I said before, that the subject matter is not necessarily, electric content. It's very, especially here on the East Coast, very old fashioned. It's just an old school type industry. And there's just a lot of, it's not, like you said before, it's necessary. I mean, people need it when they're trying
Right.
to close on their properties. So the actual subject matter is not necessarily what I try to sell. It's because the rates here in New Jersey are regulated. So it doesn't matter what company you go to, you get charged the exact same price for the exact same product. Essentially, just the logo at the top is going to be different. It's all about relationships and service. So if I have good relationships with my clients, if we provide good service, which we do because we have people that have been doing this for a very long time,
Okay.
they're very knowledgeable, very experienced, know what they're doing, and we just have the resources of a huge company. We have 5 offices here just in New Jersey for our direct op side. And, so if you have good relationships and service with your clients, all of a sudden you start to build up a good book of business. And now, almost 4 years later, I really enjoy this job. Like, I enjoy doing it. It's more about the people for me,
Right.
and connecting and making sure that we're helping them with their issues, their problems, being a connector, because that's really important in the real estate game, as
Yeah.
being able to make sure that people get in front of the people that can answer their questions or
Right.
provide some other type of service that maybe I can't provide, but I know a guy. That's
Right.
always good to
Right.
have. Like,
Right.
you always have to have a guy, or a girl that can do the job that you can't do.
Right. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a few title reps. They gave me a good referrals because some investors couldn't close. So it's good to build a good relationship with that title company. Stick with a
Yeah.
certain title company. show your face, whether you do deal with them or not, build a bridge. But I actually have closed a couple of deals because that person couldn't close at that time.
Right.
Took it off though, but it's good networking, as I said before. Which I
Yeah.
used to be a mortgage broker, so
Okay,
guys,
then yeah.
yeah, y'all used to take me out to lunch every time.
Yeah.
Just to get the business, man.
Right.
We go to lunch. I go to lunch 3 or 4 times a week, man.
Yeah. Just with different title people. Yeah, right. We're all over the place. Yeah. But there's only one Mike Ham. That's the key takeaway from this episode. I hope you get is there's only one me. So you should be calling me. Yeah,
that's
right.
where we're gonna lead to this though. What makes you so unique? Because I know that your title companies has purchased. Am I right? They purchased certain title companies. What's the name of your company again? Educate them that you're so big.
Yeah.
Why you guys are nationwide and which.
Right. So the parent company of all the companies is Fidelity National Financial. So people may hear that and think of Fidelity Investments. Not the same. Not connected at all. No. So Fidelity National Financial owns Fidelity National Title Group, which you had mentioned in your bio, which is the largest collection of underwriters in the country, title insurance underwriters in the country. So we own brands, Chicago Title, Commonwealth Title, obviously Fidelity. I know down in Texas, I think we have Alamo Title. So we're a very large company, Fortune 500 company. Like I said, we're nationwide. We have, offices all over the country, local offices like mine here in New Jersey. You have NCS offices in a lot of the major cities, Houston. I think Dallas might have one, but I know Houston does. Yeah. New York, Chicago, LA, Vegas, Jacksonville, all over the place. So that's the company that I work for. And then me being a sales rep for that larger company, that's where I think that I can separate myself from a lot of people that do the job that I do. So like you mentioned before, I have the podcast. I'm just trying different things and trying to bring my own spin on how to sell it and how to help market myself and network and and add value to my clients. So like if you go through the episodes of my show, a lot of those real estate focused episodes, some of those people are my clients. Some of those people I want to have as clients. And that's why I get them on the show to talk about whatever it is that they want to talk about, because that's where I think that I can separate myself, because I'm a creative guy. I'm using like the old school. A lot of my mentors have been doing this for a very long time. Like some of them are in their 70s and obviously have been doing it since, however long ago that was. But you take somebody like me who's 30, I could take those best practices that are timeless, that work whether you're 75 years old or 25 years old in the current year that you are, but just now selling. What's that?
You can tailor it to that
exactly
need.
Right.
But you have the source, you have knowledge.
Yeah.
Where you can go ask them this, and then you can come back and tailor. Hey, let's do this, let's do that.
Right.
Hey, one moment I get back with you. That's why you're in a good field.
Yeah.
Because it's so broad, and you're unique. You're making yourself unique because people do business with people they like, know, and trust.
Yep.
Which everybody's going. Which I'm 50. Which everything's so fast now. You got these phones and everything. They got a word called peer-to-peer. Everything's so fast right now. But you're so unique where you come. That's what, ladies and gentlemen, I got a side. When I first met him, man, you hear he say he plays baseball. I call him Mr. Butt. He just hit a bunt. He gonna hit all bases with you, ladies and gentlemen. He gonna make a home run. That's why.
That's right,
man. So he's so unique, but he has coach and mentors. Am I right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's the biggest thing, is being able to, because one of the things that I like about having people like that is they've worked with clients that I could only dream of working with, like big clients, and I won't say any of them, but
you're right.
Like they've done very well for themselves over the course of their career. And like I said before, there are certain things that in a sales role that are just timeless, right? So they'll work whether you're selling title insurance in 1991 or 2021.
Right.
But now you take someone like me that grew up in kind of a digital world, you know what I mean? So I didn't get my first flip phone cell phone until I think I was in like 8th grade maybe. But since then, that's where I do a lot of my networking, is on LinkedIn. Right. I was able to put this podcast together to help grow my brand and build up a personal brand. So now not only do I have the street cred walking into a big law office, let's say here in New Jersey, that I work for Fidelity, and they know that the weight that carries and the amount of experience that I have behind that name, but also that they can work with someone like me who's fun, like that
Right.
it can do different things beyond just take you to lunch. You know what I
Right.
mean? And I do
Right.
those things because
Right.
those are some of those timeless things. But
Right.
it's important to know, like you said before, people want to do business with the people that they know, like, and trust.
Right.
And if they know, like, and trust me because they know I can do the job, and they know that our team here in New Jersey or wherever can get the file out on time, get it closed, so no headaches there.
Right.
That's really important. So you have like these two great attributes for me, which makes it unique because I have this big company, but also a very strong, or trying to build a very strong personal brand, to kind of make sure that people do trust me.
That's a side note, you know. Don't you feel like it's still competitive, even though you're not in sports? You still
Oh
make
yeah,
your business competitive, or I like to be about competitive people, man. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I
It's all
love
it's
challenges, man. So
right.
I like to
That's
answer it,
all it
man.
is.
Yeah.
It's a competition. So I mean, I work in our New Jersey office with three or four other sales reps here in New Jersey,
Okay.
and we technically compete against each other. So if I
Right.
get a client, no one else could touch that person. So the more clients I can pull into my little sphere of influence,
Right.
they can't go after them. But then you have other direct operations here in New Jersey. You have a lot of agents here in New Jersey, which is like a whole other it's a little bit hard to explain, which we don't have to get
Sure.
into here,
No
but
problem.
there's a lot of agents in New Jersey as well. So then you have a lot of people trying to pull at these clients, get them to send them business too. So that's where the value add stuff really comes into play.
That's
So
right.
can you connect people? What else are you doing besides, the traditional take them to lunch, buy them drinks, like shake their hand at an event, whatever.
Right.
Like what can you do for them that would help them grow their business or help
Right.
them get in front of the right people and,
That's right.
do whatever they got to do. So, that's kind of how I approach it, is that like, I want to be able to add as much value to these people as I possibly can. And this has just been a way that I can do that I honestly, and you could tell me if you've seen it, I don't really see anybody else doing what I do
No, you're
as
unique,
a
man.
as a title rep, or at least if they are, they're not banging the drum as loud as I bang it. So
But I'm gonna
that's
tell
really
you
important.
this. I'm asking you, are you getting most of your business because you're doing social media from YouTube and your podcast? Is kind of easier now because you're an educator too, and
Yeah,
I believe in authority figure. Me personally, when I was in sales, I used to sell cars and all that before I became a mortgage broker. But I love educating people. When I did my first car sales, man, I did 14. Out of 14, only 2 were ups. The
yeah,
other 12 were referrals. Cause I gave 100%. I educate them. So that's where you stand out as a podcast, YouTube, LinkedIn, Clubhouse. It's an ongoing. It's just law of magnetism. I call it. You
yeah.
ain't got to push the sale. That's why I call you Mr. Bunt. It's just easy, man. You got everything said. They educated. They just asking the question. I love an educated
Right.
buyer, man, or seller.
Yeah.
But here I want to do. I know we can go on. But I just want to cut it short. I got one more question
Sure.
because I have the listeners. Their apartment. Some of these listeners are buy an apartment complex, or they may buy duplexes or anything above. Do you guys close those types of deals, like commercial properties?
Oh yeah, yeah. So like here in New
Or
Jersey,
underwrite, rather. I ain't gonna say close.
yeah,
Yeah,
right. So
close. Yeah.
we do it all, and that
Okay.
is the nice thing about working for such a big company, is that like I said before, I mean, we might do like $150,000 refinance one day, like a refinance policy,
Sure.
or do like a $500 million casino down in Atlantic City,
Wow.
and that's the nice thing, because we have the resources to do everything.
Okay.
So the $150,000 refinance might not be our bread and butter. The bigger commercial stuff might be, but at the same time, that's all part of it. So we can get anything done. Does not matter the size. Does not matter the scope of the project.
You're
It could
capable.
be
You guys are
multiple
capable.
sites. It could be a lot of different things. So
Right.
yeah, we can handle it all.
You guys are capable. Because
Yep.
one thing that you stood out, 1 minute or less. What is underwriting? You guys deal with the underwriting, right? You said something about underwriting what makes you unique or something like that. The underwriting.
Right. So the underwriter is the actual person that reads those copies that are sent over from the searcher at the county records office. They
Mhm.
go through the history of that property basically and put
Right.
the commitment together. So it's generally the commitments are very standard boilerplate type stuff, and they cover
Sure.
the same types of things. But if they notice the issues that I had mentioned earlier in the episode, they know what to put in there to make sure that they're taken care of by the seller. So we basically take the deal from, once the contract is signed, it usually comes over to us. We take it from that point and help facilitate all the way through the closing. We'll do the closing if that's needed, and then go from there. So
okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you hear it, but I just want you, if you're listening in, I want you to hear it so he can break it down to you. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to reach him anyway, especially the underwriting department. You're going to reach what's called an escrow officer or a title rep. Am I correct? When you go to the office, and that's the position of, at times, especially on the first time buyer, that's the position of an escrow officer and a realtor that you're working with, and the mortgage broker or the loan officer. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want you guys to know the basics and know that this is important. Like I said in my book, do not close at the kitchen table. I advise you to go with sources, title company such as this person here. That's why I want to let you know this is one of the main sources, and he'll be your eyes, and he has experience on that. So any last words, Mike, before we cut this short? Any tips or last words?
Yeah. Honestly, the biggest thing right now, especially, since, I know Texas is a little bit different than here in New Jersey, and things are starting to look up from the COVID standpoint, but make sure that you're doing that stuff early on, and always know, especially if you are in a state where the buyer has to pay for that title insurance, always know that as the buyer, you have the final say on where that title insurance is being purchased from. So that's one of the things that we always seem to notice, is that whether it's a realtor or an attorney, will just go ahead and order it, and then you have no idea who's it coming from, who's working on it. You have no idea, and then you get to your closing table, and they want to check for fees. They want to check for $3,000 to send to Chicago Title, and you're like, what the hell is Chicago Title? What is that? So that is one of the most important things, just making sure that the buyer knows that they can decide who they want to purchase, or who they want to go to purchase that title insurance. And like you mentioned, I am just a phone call away. You mentioned my phone number at the outset. That's my cell. Anybody can reach out to me whenever they want. And I'd be happy to at least point them in the right direction to get what they need from that standpoint. But I appreciate coming on. I appreciate you having me. And this has been great. Hopefully everybody got some value out of this.
Well, thanks, Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to have his information. You'll see it below here. If you're watching YouTube, you'll see it located. If you're listening in, you'll be able to download that information. You'll see it located there also. Well, once again, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. And remember, don't condemn, don't complain, because you have a choice to make a change. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us on the Nicholas Brown Podcast. Make sure to visit our website, www.nickbrowninc.com, where you can subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or via RSS, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you found value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply tell a friend about the show, that would help us out too. If you like this show and you are a new real estate investor, then check out one of Nicholas's free reports called the Wholesale Dominator Report, also located on our website, www.nickbrowninc.com/free reports. Be sure to tune in for our next episode. And remember, don't condemn, don't complain, because you have a choice to make a change. Have a great day.